on the page? I can share.
Yeah, it's on the lockdown page. We just had a whole podcast before the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all working.
We just had a whole podcast before the podcast. Oh, I got to update this. Well, we're live though.
Yeah, we're live.
I see it. Yeah.
What's up? We gonna go through and do our thing. All right, this is a Lockdown Battle League podcast. We talking music industry. You see it? That I was gonna share it. What you wanted?
Yeah, it's on here.
All right. What's up to all the people checking in?
They asking if there's battles. Now there's no battles tonight. We're just chopping it up. No battles tonight.
No battles today, just some music industry talk. I don't know. Can you pin something down there, Gambo?
What do you want me to do?
I was gonna say just pin down there, ask all the music industry questions you want to ask.
All right.
That way everybody can ask. But yeah, in the building,
your cat is lamping, Gambo.
Chilling.
Oh, that's the whoa. That's Peanut. That's Peanut, man. I found that cat. Yeah. I found that cat when she was like 2.5 weeks old. I came out my front door one day, and she was literally chilling on my. And I say she was small, like she still had blue eyes, which meant like she wasn't off milk yet, and she was probably abandoned. I used to live like the old neighborhood I lived in was like in the hood, and like it had fucking so many wild cat. Like them things just fucked all day because they had thousands of wild cats in that neighborhood, man.
Just living the life.
Yeah, dude. Like at night, you can hear them like having gang wars, like fucking 50 of them scrapping. You could hear it all throughout the neighborhood. And I just found her on my front step, and she climbed up on my lap and like just sat there. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna take this cat. And I took it to the vet, and I was like, yo, check it out and see if it's like healthy, because like wild cats can have like that cat age shit and like leukemia. So like they said she was all right, and they're like, look, we can keep her and make sure she's okay, but you can't have her back for like 3 months because we don't. And I was like, I'm not gonna give you this cat for 3 months if I'm gonna take it. Like I'll just take it now. And she's chilling. That's the woe right there, man. Story of me and Peanut.
All right. All right. Game on Peanut. So what we got here is Lockdown Battle League podcast. It kind of is. We bring this to y'all to give y'all like a lot of good music industry. We ain't gonna be here long. We're just here to sit down and talk to y'all. If y'all got any questions, we're gonna go over who these two gentlemen are, who they are to Lockdown. And we just had some music industry talks. So I think the best topic today is gonna be about being a sustainable artist in today's climate, based off of what we were just talking about. Off of that. So first, I'm gonna pass to Rich Raw. What's up? How you?
Great, man. The other night, man, I think it was a lot of success. I had a lot of fun with y'all. You know what I mean? I'm Richard Raw. For those that don't know me, I am an artist, activist, a raptivist, as KRS-One would say. You know what I mean? I've been an artist around in Garvey City for quite some time, for years. And, I also do a lot of work with our youth. I have a program called Beyond Those Bars, which is a hip-hop based program that we teach our young people everything from songwriting to communication skills to character development. And we've been doing that since 2013. And we're in several locations. We're in Ferris. We're in a lot of different locations, man. Just doing what we can to affect change in this generation. You know what I mean?
All right. My man K Hawk, what's up? Introduce yourself.
Peace. My name is K Hawk. Definitely one of Delaware's native sons, one of Delaware's own. And I'm just an artist who just likes to be extremely creative, try to bend, just push the envelope creatively when it comes to lyricism, you know what I mean? And I just have my own views about things, and I like to speak on them in my music and just in my life. And I champion certain causes, and just represent for my people, represent for Delaware, and do whatever I can to just try to put Delaware in a positive light as far as it comes to being a hip hop artist.
All right, Gambo. They know who you are, but what's good though?
Hi, I'm Gambo, token white guy, Lockdown Battle League. What's up?
And I'm Cheeks. I'm the other host of the y'all journeys inside. How long y'all both been inside the music industry?
Oh man, I mean, it's been I released my first like independent originally produced project in like 2012. But before that, I had probably like 7, 8 like mixtapes, by that point already. But that was when I just kind of, in 2012 is when I kind of flipped the switch and kind of just kind of started making all like original music and not really doing as much like mixtape stuff.
Okay.
So I guess you could officially say since like 2012, but we true to this,
Rich?
I say back, for me, it's back like I would say probably like 2010. That's when I started doing my own shows. I didn't release my official album until 2013. That's when I started. I probably got like a little over, probably about 10 projects out streaming now. So probably about 2010 is when I took it serious. But before that, I've been around. You know what I'm saying? I've been around for a long time. You know what I mean? So prior to that, I was doing mixtapes. Same thing as Hot. That's what it was. When 50 Cent and G Unit was hot and Dipset was hot. Everybody put out mixtapes, and that's what I did. And then I figured, we try to monetize and monopolize this thing and take it serious. So probably in 2013 is when I released my official first album, and from there, we've been on running. Great.
Gambo, when did you start rapping?
Man, I mean, I don't know, bro. I didn't really even take it serious till a couple years ago, and then I stopped taking it serious because I was like, all right, I'm fucking tired, getting old. But I would say like, I actually in high school I used to so in high school I started out actually making beats, and then like that's how like I met Vadio and like VAR, all the people who was talking about VAR and stuff like that.
What was you making beats for?
To be honest, just like people in school, like just like people, whatever, they would come over. I had a little studio and I was recording people, and then I used to get fucked up like at parties and get drunk and like freestyle, and then like I started making music, and then when I came down to Florida and got my shit back together, I decided to start making music again because I didn't make music for like 5 years. I just made it for a hobby, and like some shit just kept happening randomly that kept putting me in positions that forced me to, I have to keep making music for a little bit longer. And then once all that was up, I was like, all right, cool, that was fun, man. But I'm getting older. I'm trying to like, do some other shit. Like, I don't know. Once you start getting older, I feel like everything that I guess I was chasing at first, it started to become not important, and other shit became important. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on that. Like I can always do that shit, whatever. But there's other things that I want to do in life that I don't need to be seen for. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, I'm not a rapper. Never was a rapper. My man EH, I stood next to him on what was the name of that DVD? The Delaware DVD. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. Somebody in the comments will know what it is.
You talking about Cypher Kings?
Not Cypher Kings. Before that, I know Richard Raw know what I'm talking about.
You talking about Ready Rocks?
Not right before that. This was 2002, 2001 ish. The boy Sub-Zero was the one doing it, but it was a DVD that went all around Delaware and everybody was on it. But I can't remember the name of it. And not even a DVD, it was a tape. It was a tape. And I lived around the corner from
like a VHS.
VHS.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I lived around the corner. I happen to have lived around the corner from Jay Dollars, Some people knew he was a rapper,
Oh my
and
goodness. $8.
I went to, I, and my
Bro.
brother is EH. Uh,
Yeah.
that's somebody. So I grew up with, and then we did a little project called the Violators, and I met DJ. Well, I met Paul, who's now Bob De Niro, when we were kids, and then my older homeboy of mine was in Hopin Records, and that's Hopin, that you another Hopin guy. And then there was things out like Third World, and I can't remember the names of some of the people. This is old stuff. And then I pretty much just became a suit. I was a suit pretty much. Just business, doing manager stuff. And then I did some stuff around the city, little stuff. I worked with Track. I know everybody in the city knows Track, who became like my mentor, and I learned a lot of stuff in the studio with him. Met pretty much everybody in the city like through him. And then after that, I moved to Atlanta. And in Atlanta, I didn't come here specifically to do music. I just happened to stumble upon an artist who just put me on like a path to just be doing music. I got like a little crew, was doing promotions. I did a lot of things in the industry, worked with a lot of good people in the industry, and kind of just kept it moving from there. And that's been my love of music. When I started doing management, somebody offered me a radio spot, and that's how I got to where I'm at now with the hosting and podcasting and things like that. Because in the studio, they'd be like, "Yo, man, you need to do this and do that, and you can talk." And I just kind of fell into it. So that's it, man. That's me. Uh, you rapping, fellas. How did y'all get started, and then how did y'all learn to stay sustained?
Rich said something. Rich said something about the mixtape era, which kind of has a lot to do with it. I mean, obviously the music industry, it just continuously changes. I mean, every 6 months you could say that the music industry might shift and go in a different direction. And coming up in the era that we came up in, it felt like, I kind of got, I speak for myself, but it felt like I kind of got caught in the middle of a huge industry shift, which was the shift from physical formats of music into what is now streaming. But at
Yes.
first it was just like, it just kind of went from CDs, and then it transitioned into like the internet with like blogs and, sites like allhiphop.com, which is still around today. Shout out to allhiphop.com. They made themselves a way to stay in the industry and be a prominent hip hop site for over 20 years from then till now. But most of the sites that was around at that time is like gone. Like nobody really goes to maybe like hiphopgame.com. Like I used to go there, like, get music, and go to All Hip Hop and get rumors and news and stuff like that. And with that shift from the physical form and to the MP3s and stuff like that, it just really changed the hustle. The social networks, MySpace was really big, and MySpace made that position where a bunch of artists began to kind of like make careers on their own, and a couple of artists just became popping from MySpace. Like Wale is kind of like a MySpace artist. Sean Kingston was the MySpace guy, and just a bunch of different artists became popping on the internet. And that also changed the way that artists went about their own music careers, because when you realize that you could develop your own fan base, then it was like, okay, that began to shift to kind of like saying, fuck all these record labels. And it just kind of like all of the record labels, you see a bunch of them, they defunct because of that, and you just kind of got like, maybe it's really, really like 3 record labels right now that have a whole bunch of subsidiaries that are basically putting out a lot of the content that you see in the mainstream, besides the artists that develop their own fan base, put up their own money and do their own thing. So it's definitely been a challenge to just kind of continue to stay in the music industry, to kind of stay relevant amongst my peers, amongst the Richard Raws, you know what I mean, who's always been extremely consistent, and then amongst anybody else who's just kind of coming out and just hungry, you know what I mean. It's always going to be a challenge, as long as you're trying to be in the game of hip hop, for to have all of that, the competition, and it's a really crowded pool. So really, it's just about maintaining, your relationship with your own fans, and trying to just build on that continuously. Because success is measured a little differently now. Like you used to really need to be, people really wanted to see that, all of the flashy stuff, the Diddy era, that type of stuff, the 50 Cent era, the big money era. And, that's still, people still get that off today, but nowadays you can be who you are and just develop your own fan base. And that's just kind of like what I continue with.
Richard and Gambo, y'all kind of come from, Richard, you being in the conscious circuit, and Gambo, you coming from, we talked about this last week, with your background in the kind of in the country rap scene.
Well, no, I wasn't like country rap. It's just like I got on that one tour, and that fan base just kind of gravitated towards me. But I definitely never made country rap. That's a fact.
But dealing with those, has it always been harder? I guess even just being a white guy in rap, has it always been harder to be a different person when you step into a rap room with the super thug and his 50 goons?
It's easier sometimes and it's harder sometimes. It just really depends, like in the venue. Like for instance, like I said, like the country, like when I went on tour with Bubba Sparks, right? Like that crowd, like Bubba Sparks is like Jesus in the fucking woods in Georgia and fucking Tennessee. Like it's the weirdest thing ever. So like those guys, they love me. I mean, I don't know. Like, it was easy, I guess, for them. But like, there's been times when, I've done shows at like 3 a.m. in a fucking strip club in Palm Beach. And that is very hard to get anybody's attention because like, I don't, this is how I dress. Like, I'm like chilling, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like one of those things where I'm like I stick out like a sore thumb, in those venues. And sometimes, I get the honest attention. Sometimes it's just like, it's not what it is. So it really just depends, man. I mean, music in general is all about finding your niche anyway. And just like getting in the venues that, and the people that, can relate with you, can accept your message in your music and whatever it may be. And I think that's like why a lot of artists fail, is because they try so hard to be either something that they're not, or they try so hard to impress people that will never ever be impressed by them. You know what I'm saying? And they fight over that one core group. And there's all these different groups. And I was more the positive lane, I guess you would say. So where as I started going my little journey in my life and do the things that I did, kind of rapping about certain things that I used to rap about just didn't feel natural anymore, and like, so I started, talking on other subjects. And when I started talking on other subjects that was real to my life, there was millions of people that also went through the same shit that could relate with it. And I think that's one of the things with music. So, it has its benefits. I guess being a white guy in rap has its benefits and it has its downsides. And it's all about just fucking finding out where those benefits are and exploiting them and not worrying about, the other shit, and get in where you fit in, man.
Richard, conscious rap.
I always felt comfortable in my own skin. I grew up 25th, 24th and Market was a stomping ground I grew up in. And, what I'm saying? I was in the era where, I remember it was Hakeem and Khalif, the two twins. They made, it was them and Lil Ant. Like they made 25th and 24th hot. Like it wasn't really a name for it. So I was around them and half of the people I grew up with, they either dead or in jail. It's like that's what it was. You know what I mean? And I found it out through music. So even being around, like they were still my friends, so I still had access to them. So I always felt comfortable in any room I went in. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was, if I got to perform and they not really in the conscious-ish, you know what I mean? I just felt good. I'm like, I'm gonna display this. You might not catch this now, but you might catch it later. And that's the mentality I roll with. Like you may not catch it. It may be crazy. But later on down the line, when you mature, you get exposed to something else. You gonna feel something. I'm saying. So I never felt like, wow, man, I can't go in here. I can't. That's where I belong. That's the kind of interesting thing with Richard Rawl is like me being, just doing conscious shows don't even make sense because we're supposed to be put in front of the unconscious. So I feel more at ease in those spaces than preaching to the choir. You know what I mean? I think I need to be in places where I could say, because I promote plant-based diet. You know what I mean? And I know like now, look at COVID and the whole thing. So like I've been talking about this for I don't know how long, and now you see meat is polluted. Like you got to be careful what meat you eat. COVID is running rampant in meat factories. So for me, it's like, damn, my message was right all along. And now people are like, yeah, yo, you've been on that shit for a minute. Yo, you've been saying that shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to change because I know what it is. So I always felt comfortable, man, comfortable in my skin.
Piggybacking off that a little bit, that's also like a part of that transition that I was talking about earlier, where it was like, okay, the music industry was making that shift from the physical to the MP3s. It was also a sonic shift. The music industry and hip hop specifically is always, making shifts about kind of like what's popping to kind of talk about. And when I was doing it, I always when I first began to like put out my own music, period, I always was an artist, even though I kind of teetered on making like, hardcore music or having a lot of bravado in it. I still got a lot of bravado in my music. It's always like a conscious or positive message in the music. And like in 2002, they was trying to get me to 2005 rather, they was trying to get me to make like snap music. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what was popping. You know what I mean? Lil Jon, and the East Side Boys, Orisha in the building. You know what I mean? That's what was popping at the time. They wanted us, hey Orisha, oh, you're so beautiful. That style of music was what was hitting, and like to be lyrical, like that lyrical stuff got pushed way underground. Like artists like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, the cats that's actually still around now, they wasn't popping back then. It was like D4L and like.
And I beg to differ when you say that.
Boys, huh?
I challenge that.
They wasn't.
I challenge that.
On the radio, people wanted me to dumb it down. You know what I mean? And it was like, nah, I can't do that. I gotta be who I am. I want to eat rappers alive. I want to talk about, issues that's important to me. And like in that time period, people wasn't trying to hear that, at least from me. You know what I mean? From my personal perspective, they wasn't trying to hear that from me. They was like, yo, you know what I mean? They wanted to hear trap beats. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't until Kanye West came out that it started to make that shift. Like, oh, okay, you can do it. And then that led to more artists like that. Kanye West led to like Lupe Fiasco, and those artists led to like Drake and Kendrick, you know what I mean? To where we now have a balance. It's a balance now. You can do whatever you want now. But man, that shift was tough, trying to like just be myself, in that time. I stood true to it, but maybe it was at the peril of being a larger artist at the time. But I'm cool with that, you know what I mean? Because being comfortable in your own skin to me is more important.
Mm-hmm.
I challenged that though. That Mos Def wasn't popping back then, because they was. It's just you're not going to hear them on radio because radio is not for them. Radio is not for Griselda. It's just it wasn't a before streaming, there wasn't a platform. A huge platform.
Right now, we have like a lot of metrics, you know what I'm saying, that could tell you like, okay, this artist is actually doing well, you know what I mean? But like in that time, the only metric was sales, you know what I mean? Music video, radio spins, sales. Those artists was definitely popping. They was popping to me. I mean, Black on Both Sides is one of my favorite albums, period. Mos Def is one of my favorite artists, period. So it's not like he wasn't, like they was invisible or, or something like that. Like they had their lane, but it wasn't like what it was supposed to be. Them dudes was supposed to be like with Jay-Z, You know what I mean? Like Mos Def,
No, they wasn't though.
nice. The talent
Them
wise,
dudes wasn't for the Grammys.
bruh. Of
They
course
wasn't
not,
for
because
the
of their
Grammys.
content, but the music was good. Like Mos Def should have been as popping as like Beanie Siegel. Like Beanie Siegel had more of a grip on the culture than Mos Def did. You know what I mean? Like Rockefeller and all of that, they was the top. It was at the top. You know
But
what I
look
mean?
at the
DMX,
difference in life.
Yeah.
Look at the. I
it's not even
remember
about the difference
when
in
you
life,
said
though. It's just about how their
when you,
music was performing at the time. Like I don't
but
know if
listen,
Mos
look
Def was gold. You know what I mean? Like Beanie Siegel probably has a gold plat. You know what I mean? Maybe even one. Nah, he don't. I don't think he ever went platinum. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know if Mos Def had that then. You know what I mean? It took time for his numbers to accumulate to that, and those was the only metrics then.
but look at this. That's the metrics you can say. I'll say the commercial metrics. But
Mhm.
Beanie Siegel had the lock because that was the times.
I'm
Beanie
not mad
Siegel
at
spoke for
it.
the time.
I'm a Beanie
And-
Siegel fan too.
At 23, I mean, that's saying 23. In 2003, I was 18 years old, just graduating high school. I spent every single day since from the time that I was even got to get out of school on 24th and Tatnall and up and down Turf. Period. I lived on 21st Street my whole life. I'm from 24th Street. We're gonna talk about that later, Rich. You see what I'm saying? And we played literally from Oaks Park every single day. State Property 2 played every day.
Yo, that was the high school
Yeah.
soundtrack,
That's the
man.
time.
That was the high school
That's the way
soundtrack.
we. That's the way we
They was the
dressed. That's the way we dressed. That's the way we lived. That was the mentality. But when you go home, you might listen to Mos Def. So maybe he should, because you gotta look at what times was.
It's also fascinating about that time, since the internet wasn't what it is now. Like things would really pop off regionally. Like state property, we love state property. You know what I'm saying?
They don't.
Like, when they came to Wilmington recently, they did numbers at the Queen. You know what I mean? But like they can't do those numbers everywhere else. You know
They
what
can't
I'm
do
saying?
that. They can't do those numbers in Atlanta.
They can't do those numbers in Atlanta.
Definitely not.
You know what I mean?
And over time, know who they are.
I think Mos Def, if he did a show in Atlanta, he would still smash it.
He sold out. I think he sold out.
They had to like they had to show that longevity, and Beanie Siegel deserves that, that nod. He should be able to do that. Like Beanie Siegel is a legend. He should be able to do that. But that I think what you're speaking on has a lot to do with the regionality. Like we listened to that in this region. Like when I was in college around that time, that was it, bro. We was wearing Dickies and Carhartts, you know what I mean, Timbs, and we was wearing jeans. You know what I mean? State prop coats with all the pockets and the hidden pockets on the inside. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely real big regionally for. I don't know how it was performing in other places, but
they don't.
I do.
They don't see it the same way.
It had like a bigger buzz. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
we listen, just like you said, we listen to Mos Def at home. Like we go out to the party and listen to State Prop and bump that, and then do a shoulder dance, a snap music dance, and then go back to listen to Black Star.
But at the same time as we say that, I remember 2 years ago, Talib Kweli said he did 200 and some odd shows in a year. Now, it's not a lot of days in a year, so that just shows you how busy he was. I mean, of course, he working, but he eating. So when he did all those shows, I'm doing a calculation. Now, this is Talib Kweli. He probably is definitely getting between 5,000 and 10,000 a show.
At least.
And you take, your taxes and you take all of that. But I mean, that just showed me he eating. And then I looked at the Roots. Before the Roots went on Jimmy Fallon, they was doing the same thing. They was eating off of those shows. So it's interesting when you look at State Prop and you look at the dynamic, it's like Mos Def and them can command more for shows, even though State Prop was more popular. But then when you look now at who's the more successful, it's like
it's clear,
no brainer. It's a no brainer at all. Yeah. It's interesting to look back. Like, I mean, State Prop was everywhere, and everybody loved it. I'm always look at nostalgia as it's interesting because I look back at the music that I like and I'm like, damn, I like that. Like I listen to Biggie lines and I'm like, I don't know how I like that. I don't know why I like that. Like he talk about, something, kidnap kids, fuck them in their ass, and over the bridge. I'm like, so for me, nostalgia, like I always love I love my era, and I'm a 90s head, but at the same time, man, I appreciate what's going on right now because I think this is a golden age. I mean, and then people disagree with me, but I'm like, look at the amount of what you can talk about now as versus in the 90s, it was narrow. It was like, you talk about New York street rap, or if you was on the West Coast, you talk about gang culture. Now you can talk about being molested. You know what I mean? And that's like when I heard Common open up about being molested, I'm like, man, half of these hard dudes was getting molested. Like that's a
half of them.
And so it's like, yo, now you can deal with that pain. Like that's therapeutic. You can talk about that in your music, and it's like a form of therapy. And even Jay talk about he getting therapy. I'm like, man, Mobb Deep needed therapy. Tupac needed therapy. I mean, damn, they needed therapy.
Therapy is so helpful, period.
Thing what's going on right now, man. Shout out to J. Cole, because J. Cole is pushing the envelope in that direction, and a whole bunch of others.
And in that time period too, like, and I went to Del State, so shout out to like all the Hornets. Like at that in 2005, like I was doing shows with Kweli. Like I would pull up to the Kweli shows. He would let me get on stage, you know what I'm saying, and just rock his crowds. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would come back to Del State, and I was an artist at Del State, you know what I mean? It was really just fun times, really tense competition on campus, if you can imagine that enclosed community, you know what I'm saying, where you got artists. It's just like a simulation of reality of what it's like in the real world. It's kind of like what college is when you get blended with all of these different personalities and people from different places. But like, if I would have been on stage with State Property, they would have been on my dick. Like it would have been different. You know what I'm saying? Like, but since I was on stage with Kweli, it was kind of like, oh, that's cool. And I was, I'm just reminiscing at this point, but I just find it extremely fascinating. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm glad that my musical taste, and I mean, like, the only thing I disagree with Rich, because I still like that music. I don't know what it is about it. Sometimes that energy, I don't know. It's just something about it that I gravitate to. But that aside,
because you understand it. You remember being in that pocket.
It's just, I just kind of gravitate to it a little bit, you know what I mean? But I like it now. It can't be the same now though. Like a super gangster rapper is not even like crazy. You gotta, like, rest in peace, Nip. Like he got a song on his on Victory Lap that, you know what I mean, don't play no games, one sucker proof, where he where he busting off, and I just love the energy. But then he got them songs on there too, where he talking about entrepreneurship, you know what I mean, starting businesses in your own community, and it's the balance that you have to have now for me to be able to gravitate to you. But like I guess Biggie didn't really have to do that for me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Tupac did it, but I guess that's kind of why a lot of people consider Tupac the GOAT, you know? He was a mixed bag then.
I definitely love my nostalgic music, but I don't think I'm caught. I think let me clarify, I'm not caught, because some people, they get so nostalgic, it's like they can't appreciate what's going on now.
Oh man, I know a couple people like that.
It's like, I wish we was in the 90s, and I'm like, I don't wish we were in the 90s right now.
I don't.
No. Cool. But they like, they want that. No. Like, man, like, there was narrow content, and just imagine the kid that is getting molested, or the kid that is a little different. Like, they don't even fit in the 90s. It's nothing for them.
I feel like dudes that say that. I feel like dudes that say that don't even know how to use the internet. Because if that's what you want, you can find a new artist that make that fire.
You definitely can.
It's like, there's so much talent, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's out there.
There is a new artist. Like, to all my 90s niggas that's tuned in right now and that may see this, like, it's an artist out right now that you would like, yo. Yeah. Like, you got to give this shit a shot.
Fits your box. And see, that's why I think to give the artists out there who watching in the gym, you should definitely focus, especially nowadays, on if you are a regional artist, don't shy away from it. Like if you're a
Right.
regional artist in your region, you have to know that you can get money and you can live
Right.
very, very successfully.
Yep.
The people,
Yeah. It's
I
so
think I
many
really,
artists doing their thing.
I think Gambo can relate to this too. When he got to Florida, and I got to like when I got to Georgia, I'm a mention his name. When I seen Rocco, right, and how he lived,
Mm,
Rocco pulls up in his Rolls Royce and got his studio and his money, like and started careers of Future and a couple other people just off of putting out songs and traveling in the Southeast, getting $10,000 a pop, having $40,000 weekends, 40 to $60,000 weekends. Now I don't know if we all can do math here, but if I'm doing $60,000 weekends, at least 40 weekends a year, that's a good life.
mhm.
That's an
I
amazing
think
life.
I think that we headed towards that too. Like in our region in Delaware,
In the East,
I feel
yeah.
like we're heading towards it. You know what I mean? Like I definitely feel like it used to be even like really tense. You know what I'm saying? But now we can have something like Lockdown Battle League, for example, where you know what I mean. Me and Rich get on there, we homies, but you know what I mean. We get to compete. And then you got cats like Aki Fontaine and Automatic. Oh, they could come in there and they could talk reckless to each other, but they still be like, yo, boom, it's respect. That was dope. You know what I mean? So it's like it's coming together. It has been coming together for a while. You know what I mean? I think the only thing that we need to really tighten up is our like live events. You know what I mean? I mean, it's very few artists that have like live events in Delaware and in the surrounding area that's just like lit all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And
I
also,
mean, I had some great shows. I had some shows that wasn't where I wanted them to be too, but I had some great shows. Richard always puts on great shows. But
also
there are forces that kind of slowed us down or try to slow us down that we gotta push through. But I feel like that's the only piece missing, that live.
Also ingratiating yourself to the neighbors of around. Me and Gambo talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
If you in Delaware, you should be connecting with the niggas from Philly, the niggas from Chester, the niggas from DC, the niggas from Baltimore. You know what I mean? He in jail now. Free my man Buck 50. But when 50 was out, he had AR Ave and South Bridge with him. You know, those is moves that you have to make. I just seen CTF Bird with Gilly the Kid, you know, and ingratiating yourself and using those parts around us to really create who you are. You know what I mean? The same thing, God rest his soul, when Bobby Dimes had PD Crack in Wilmington. We got to see more of that, like Wilmington artists going out and reaching out to the people around to make something bigger. Going to Connecticut doing shows. Going to Pittsburgh doing shows. Going to Pennsylvania, Reddington, Coatesville, Chester, on down to DC, different parts of Maryland. Because that's how you create that network, which will then determine your net worth.
And that fan base.
Yeah,
sure.
that's the thing is the fan base. You just
gotta combine that with social networks too.
Yeah.
So like when you could go up and down and do all them shows and shows be lit, and then you got the social media numbers that back that up, you could get big checks, big bags. You know, I know for me, that's the one thing I gotta focus on is the social media. You know what I mean? Getting that following up. You know what I mean? Because my numbers don't show that I'm lit on social media, you know what I'm saying? But like when I do shows and stuff like that, I'll have successful shows, you know what I mean? But you gotta combine the two, and then you gotta package it in a way that, you know, that shows people who can't make the shows that, damn, you know, I need to be at them shows, you know what I mean? And you keep building on that. You know, that's the formula that I've just seen people repeat and just work over and over again.
That's the thing too. I think people get stuck up like in Delaware. The one thing that like I see a lot is people get like hung up on like just trying to be the best in Delaware, right? Like that's like the focus. It's not like about, hey, how can I monetize my music and like make a living off this, right? It's like I just want to be lit here and everybody to love me here, right? And like, you know, I have a friend that he makes stupid money making music. He's big, and you know, he's from Tampa, and his home. Like I'll go on tour with him, and we'll do a show in Tampa, and there'll be 100 people there. We'll go to a show in Kentucky, and there's 500. We go to a show in Ohio, and there's 650. You know what I'm saying? Like he's selling out a merch in 10 minutes at these shows, and the hometown is probably one of the lowest drawing shows, and but he's lit all over the country, and like he literally built it from, yeah, actually I opened up for him on his first tour. He had a viral video. We booked him for a tour. We went on tour with him, and he was the headliner. It was his first tour, you know, so we got cool. But like, dog, I've done 5-6 tours now, like national tours, you know, out of back of minivans, man, like driving minivans around the country, 100 to 200 people a night, and you can make money off of it. Like literally 100 to 200 people, bro. And like people like don't realize it. Like that's why I, you know, fuck everything. Like literally, you know, locally, I was doing local shows and I was bringing 2 to 250 out. And then like, you know, got some little pockets of fans to where, you know, 50 people came out one time, and then the next time it was 100 people. Cause like, you know what I mean? Like I was taking other people's fans and shit like that. That's what people don't realize. All you gotta do is get out there. And then also when you tour or when you can get out there, people that don't know you, they get that first impression of you as you're already an artist. You are touring. They never seen you before. You're a touring musician. They don't know anything about you. And it sets that first impression totally different. You know what I mean? And like, that's what people don't realize. Like if you want to do it like full time, you got to treat it like a business. Like you really got to treat it like a business.
Which means also that motherfuckers got to tighten up when they shows, because some motherfuckers just whack on stage, and that's never going to be it. But the thing about Delaware and trying to be the best in Delaware is it's honestly, it's not the place to carry yourself like that, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so small,
yeah, and
then it's so hood. Like when you start saying I'm the best, the energy just shifts. Like, you know, and it's people in Delaware that could just make strong claims to saying that they the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would put myself in that category. I would put Rich there. I would put Geno there. You know, Jay Focus, Vadi, right? Aviator Keys, M Flair. Like it's a good 10 dudes who got a strong claim that could be like, I'm the best in Delaware. You know what I'm saying? But like when you carry that energy around in Delaware, the energy is gonna be different for you. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas not gonna feel comfortable around you. Niggas not gonna be fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? Niggas gonna want to fight you, or nigga might shoot you. You know what I'm saying? It's too small and it's too hood. But if you just continue to just carry yourself, you know, in a strong way, just represent, just hold yourself down, you can have respect in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like people gonna fuck with you, they're gonna respect you. But when you jump out there like I'm the best in the city, people just get to roll in their eyes like, all right, what makes you say you the best? Like, what are you on? You know what I'm saying? Because nobody really made it yet. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Sap, you know what I'm saying? He can make a strong claim. Because look, this dude is producing records for major artists. You know what I mean? Markatech been in this game in Delaware for 20 years, like putting out records. Like he had vinyl. You know what I mean? Like he could say that make a strong claim like that. You know, everybody should feel like they the best. I feel like I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody could fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you got to go out there and prove that shit with your work. You know what I'm saying? If you're not going out there and taking yourself like a step beyond and, you know, being recognized by people outside of Delaware and, you know, that as like the Delaware guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, there will be a point where one artist or a couple of artists or a crew of artists from Delaware will come out and like everybody in the nation will hear Delaware and be like, oh, Delaware, that's those dudes right there. Those dudes represent Delaware. That's coming, but that ain't happened yet in terms of like having.
See, it's been little. I'm Rich. I see you keep smirking every time we say be that the best in Delaware thing. So definitely on that. But it's been happening, K, very smallly. It's been these smally. Well, I don't even think that's a word, but it's been like a lot of little things that keep happening. Like you got Charlamagne who keep mentioning Delaware. You done had within the last year or two to 3 people from Delaware on the Breakfast Club. You got people like what's homegirl name? I'm about to call her Coop, her name from the show. But homegirl from what's the little fun thing? Empire, Coop, whatever her name is. I can't think of her name right now. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Sure hair chick.
Bree?
One who rap. Breezy. You know what I'm saying? You got her. So you got these little things happening with the city. You got a couple Delaware actors on different things. You get what I'm saying? Wilmington actors on different things. A lot of people who are out there making moves, and you got these small things happening that combine to go, okay, now it's time for us, the industry, to allow 1 or 2 Delaware artists in. Because it's going to be like the state of representatives. Everybody ain't getting in to the mainstream party from Delaware. It ain't happening. I hope people understand that. Everybody ain't getting in. Because the industry ain't going to let everybody in. But Rich, what you think about that being the best in Delaware thing?
I mean, I would say it's a small mentality, but I understand that, certain people are limited in terms of how they think. So if that's as far as you can think, who am I to say, nah, you need to think bigger until you're ready to think bigger? I think it's a big world out there, you know what I mean? And so, but if that's, it's real talk, man. I mean, if that's your limited understanding until you come to the realization that there's a bigger world out there, I gotta leave you where you are at the moment. You know what I mean?
That was like the coldest, cleanest way to say that. That was cold, but it was clean.
Who am I to think you say you think small? I mean, but I mean it's true though. But like me and Cheeks have said that before, man. And sometimes it's the people that once you get out and you start to see things, then you realize, and that's like the messed up part about everything, right? Is like that's like life. Like once you get onto the other side, then you see all the things that you were doing in the past. But it's like if you don't never get there, you keep thinking that this is normal over here, right? Like that's the hardest part. So it's like in order to get better, you got to know you got to get better. You got to get better first, and then realize that that's the hardest part about everything, man. About life in general.
It's life. It's life in general. And I mean, that's how it is for me. You say, I'm the best in Delaware, and I'm like, cool.
All right.
If that's how you feel, and you feel like Delaware is the place that you feel like you're the best at, and you want to, then that's cool. You know what I mean?
I'm not even mad at it. I mean, you should feel that way. But when you go on a campaign, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just like, it's almost like who are you trying to prove it to? Right? Like,
Nigga down the street.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly.
But that's that's how we start off though. So I get it. So when I started off, and I'm sure I'm the best wherever I am because this is all I know. So if this is all you know, you're gonna work hard to be the best at where you are. So if you get a job and you're a janitor and you're trying to work your way up, the first thing you limited. So you like, I'm gonna be the best janitor I can be. And then until I figure out, wow, I can actually expand this. I get it. It's no disrespect or knock. It's just people are limited, man. And you know what? Ultimately, it's like, why do you do this?
Who are you calling?
I know you mentioned mainstream.
I'm a custodian.
I don't have a desire to be a part of the mainstream. You know what I mean? It's my character, my life is built a particular way, and the mainstream would disrupt that. So I'm not willing to take those chances. So ultimately, you have to ask yourself, why am I here? And what is my intent? What is my purpose? And then from there, you can begin to build and design the kind of career that's going to make sense for you.
It's for you.
And so for me, I never knocked like the next man. Like a lot of people, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people, you know, they had preconceptions like I'm on a high horse because, you know, the way I rhyme or whatever. Like, man, and then they got to know me, and I'm like, yeah, man, do you? Like, I like Kitty. I like, you know, the music that's out that may not be what I'm talking about, but I can appreciate great art. And that's what I do. I just try to appreciate great art and appreciate what you're trying to do. They want to go mainstream. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? If that's your aspirations, put on for us. The same way that I feel like, you know, I'm going to do it in a different way. You know, I'm a family man. You know what I mean? It's a little different for me. So, but I mean, you know, that Best in Delaware thing has been going on for quite some time. And I remember Nas said, you know, there is no best. You know, and I really don't. I think it depends on what you like, because to some prefer hot over raw. Some prefer raw over hot, and they'll argue that point. And I'm like, well, both of y'all got a great point. Some people will argue video is based on what you like. So, you know, I never, you know, it's like when I come on, like, who's the winner or the loser of this battle? Like with me and Hot, it's like we walk away winning, because it you know, we just walk away winning, and that's why I wanted Hot. I actually told Bob I wanted Hot. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Hot pushes me lyrically. When I hear what he does, it pushes me. Like it's competitive, but in a great way. That's the true spirit of hip hop. Like, God damn, did you hear that new song? Oh, I got to come with some shit.
See, and even being here in Atlanta, that's how they are. Yeah. Ain't nobody really saying, "Oh, I'm the best nigga in Atlanta." They may have issues with each other behind the scenes, but their issues be personal. They be a personal shit. Right. When it comes to the rap shit, they don't even be caring what it. They don't even care. Like, the people they lend themselves to is the people they rock with, and we all gonna get this money. And that's why Atlanta just keep pumping them out. Even with Gambo down in Florida, that's why Florida just keep pumping them out. Because they ain't know, oh, I'm the best, I'm the this or this. No, and they're not doing none of that. That
is true. Like on some real, like none of that. Literally some friends that I have down here, like they shot like a little series on the internet called City of War, and Kodak Black saw it, and you know, fucking financed another season and is now releasing them on his YouTube channel. Like Florida, that's one thing I can say about Florida is like, see, like everybody doesn't want to be a rapper in Florida. Like, just as many people that want to be a rapper want to be managers and want to be promoters and want to be DJs and want to be that. So it's like, you know, you have all the components. I think that like when you have everybody just wants to be rappers, and then you got people in Florida that just want to be fans. And that they're one of the most important people that just want to go out to a show, get a good show and buy a CD and support something and see somebody from their county or whatever. Because it's kind of like down here, it's like all counties. You know, you from Palm Beach County, Broward, you from Dade, you know, and it's like that's what it is. But there's a ton of components down here, man, and they all work together and like support each other. You know what I'm saying? And people blow up constantly down here. Like, it's crazy. And like first time I saw Kodak Black, man, I was at an event. This is when he made what's that one song, Flocka? Yeah, this was years ago. This was like his videos were all low budget and shit. And he literally he was with what they're called, Dollars and Deals. No, was it Dollars and Deals? Yeah, I think it was Dollars and Deals, which is like an independent label in Broward. They're the people that launched Kodak. I think they launched Ace Hood. So that's what they do. They like build up artists, get them popping, and then sell them, you know, or like, you know, do deals with other labels and sell their rights and shit like that. And they had like 100. They had like Kodak Black with like 150 people in Kodak Black t-shirts. And like nobody really knew him. Like he wasn't super popping like that, but everywhere they went, that's how they rolled. You would see like they would all have the Kodak Black shirts, all walking together, and everybody knew something was going on, you know. And then people just started to gravitate towards it. It just started to pop. But that's why you need all the components around you, man. Nobody can do it by themselves. I hate when people want to be the CEO, the rapper, the manager, the engineer, the beat maker, you can't do it all. You need people around you to take things off of your plate, and people that can just focus on one thing while you focus on just making music, while the other person focuses on just making beats. It's too much to do everything. And people, sometimes that's an ego thing.
I was just talking to, I apprentice artists, young artists, and I was just talking to them about that. Like, stop trying to do everything. I know you want to make beats, because now I'm telling you, the young people, they feel like I'm going to engineer, I'm going to make the beat, they do everything. And then, it's like, what they say, jack of all trade,
master of none. Yeah.
And that's the one thing I say, man. Look, man, these dudes got some nice tracks, man. I'm gonna grab some tracks over there and empower them. You know what I mean? And spend some money to get what I need. I'm gonna just focus on this rap, and if that's what you want to do. And I think that's one of the major things. Like, we are flooded with artists. Like Garvey City, the city alone. When you talk about Wilmington, is only 70,000 residents. It's about 1 million residents in Delaware alone. So, the fact that people complain that we don't have many venues, well, look at the population. It doesn't call for that many.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Like, this whole thing of like, yo, we gonna pop out of here. You better get out of here and then pop.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way.
See, that's why I say use the surroundings.
Yeah. But at the same time, before you go, let me, at the same time, like, I can speak from experience, like, of what we were doing at the Queen. Like, we was killing it, selling the Queen out, which is tough. But that was hard work. So you definitely can make it happen here. You just got to know what you want to do. You got to know, you got to have some goals written down, and you can make it happen. You can make some money if that's what you want to do. I mean, the lane is open. You got to bump heads with politicians.
Yep.
Because, I be telling artists all the time, like, look at Jay. Jay is successful because he's bumping heads with politicians. He probably got some bankers that he know. He got a great network, and I learned to do that. Like, we got like 10 grand from city council. You know what I'm saying? We got that. We got from the former mayor, we got some money to do stuff. So you got to get out there and work it. Peek your head above the water. And there's opportunities out there. You got to take advantage. Like, we were the first to do so many things. And I'm like, that's really a tragedy. Like, people be like, yo, that's great. I'm like, it's a tragedy. Like, why did it take this long for me to actually do this and that? Like, why couldn't we get those opportunities? And now, like, what about who's next? Like, are you prepared to take on those opportunities? Well, I tell the young generation, are you prepared so I can march you into some of these venues or to get access? Like, the Delaware Division of the Arts just gave me like $1,000 to do a show at the Wilmington Library. And I tell people that because it's like, yo, they're like, tell artists to come and submit. It's money out there. You know what I mean?
But they not going to go get it.
You know what I tell people? I tell them, change your goddamn timeline. If all these rappers are coming across your timeline and you competing with them, you in the wrong field. Like, yo, Delaware Division of the Arts, these grants, opportunities out there. Like, yo, change your goddamn timeline and what you see. Well, all I see is opportunity coming down my timeline. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Hot. My fault. I didn't mean to.
I was just going to just say, one of the things that just always, it like humbles me and it just keeps it in perspective for me about that is that the demographics, right? It's 70,000 people in Wilmington, right? It's 2 million people in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, the five boroughs, that's just one of the 5 boroughs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's 8 million people in New York City. It's 2 million people in Brooklyn. So it's like, all right, you know what I mean? If I'm gonna try to climb, I'm gonna have to reach a larger demographic, period. 70,000 people is just not enough. Like you said, it's 1 million people in Delaware. Like, how many, every single person in Delaware is not gonna follow me and give me 1 million followers. You know what I'm saying?
And to piggyback off of what you said earlier, Kay, when you said, not to cut you off, my bad.
No, you good.
When you said more people wanting to be managers, promoters, things of that nature, the thing, once again, I got to talk about when I got to Atlanta, to see more people who thought like me, to see people who actually just wanted to be managers. Because in Wilmington, everybody is either the engineer, the producer, the nigga videos. Yeah, the nigga trying to shoot somebody, or the rapper. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. When I got here, I'm getting invited to lunches with 30 people there who do the same thing I do. They got their own independent artists. They struggling. They trying to get them sponsorships. They got this, and they're willing to share with you. And it's people out there who's teaching them. Oh, I'm being mentored by, God rest his soul, Andre Harrell. I'm being mentored by P. Diddy. I'm being mentored by TJ's DJs. You get what I'm saying? Oh, this person is helping me out. I can call him. So it's like showing everybody that you don't have to be the rapper. You don't have to be the rapper. You can be the sound guy. You can be the role manager. You can even just be the person who runs the studio. Just the person, shout out to my man Chris. Chris ain't no Chris Foreman. Chris ain't no rapper.
Yeah.
RAMG. He over there doing his thing. He using his sports and when he and putting it into something that he loves. You can be that. You know what I mean? That's just to piggyback off.
Remember what we said earlier, like before this whole thing started, I'm like, yo, where your OGs? That's the first thing I asked. Yo, I live by that code. Where your OGs? Because if you ain't got no OGs, you dangerous to me. You do anything because can't nobody pull you up. Your OG is supposed to be like, nah, that's not cool. We're gonna make a different decision. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna do so. If a person tell me they ain't got no OGs or elders, then you I don't need to be around you because you liable to explode and go off. Because as human beings, like, yo, I'll explode and go off. You know what I mean? It's I gotta take this to my EI. You know what I mean? And she's my elder, and I sit down with her, and she's like, you know what? You need to make a different decision on that. You need to go in a different direction, and you need that. You need somebody in your corner like that, and that's, man, that's heavy. That's life, man. That's life in general.
Yep. It definitely, like you said, bro, like in I've been clean for a while. When I first got clean, I got a sponsor, and every fucking thing I did, I went to him, because before that, I didn't know how to fucking live life right. I didn't know how to do shit. I was homeless and fucking in and out of prison, and that's all I knew. And yeah, definitely, man. Like, you always need somebody. Like, I do a lot of the school stuff too. I speak a lot of schools with about drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. I do that a lot down here. And it's crazy, yeah, because like there's not a lot of people that do it. Like, there's been times where like I've spoken at schools and like had to have the principal translate it into Haitian, because there's like a lot of Haitian schools and stuff, and there's just not a lot of people down here that do that go speak to the kids, man. And it's it's sad, bro. It's sad because it's like, there's just, like you said, there's not a lot of elders out there, or at least people just willing to pass down whatever knowledge it is they have, whatever, because every single person in this world got something that they know that they have a better knowledge of than me, and they could pass it down to me or the next person. Everybody's an idiot savant. They got like that one thing that they're really good at, you know what I'm saying, and they can pass it on down. But a lot of people don't think like that.
It's kind of like,
shout out to Yikes Lee. I see him on here too. He's
right.
Yikes, lazy ass. Go make a song, Yikes.
Yo, Yikes is funny, right? So a lot of people think, like, man, Yikes be bold and he definitely got a cocky side to him. But you know what? He comes to me always humble, and he asks me a lot of questions. I sit down and I'm like, what do you want to know? And I'll talk to him. You know what I mean? I'm like, what do you want to know? Yo, how'd you do this? Or how'd you do that? And I want to record like this, or I always take that time, man. I feel like, I would say the people who came like right before me, they were great in doing that, but they couldn't give us much. Like, I come from the generation of Project X. Like, they were amazing. They would work with us, like the Grand G's, the York D's. Like, they would give you everything, all the information you had, but they didn't have the success. They wasn't performing. They weren't doing a lot. So it's like so much they could give you. And like now, I feel like, like me, we're in a great position now. And I just tell young artists, then reach out. Let's have a conversation, because hopefully I can help you in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Because, I had that. I had a homie named Hezekiah. A lot of people don't know who Hezekiah is. But
I know Hezekiah is. Yeah, I know Hezekiah.
So that was my big homie. I used to be his hype man. That's how I started this. I used to be his hype man. He would go around the Roots. And now he's writing for Bilal and will.i.am. Like, and still to this day, like, I call him up and he'll, it'd be like, bro, like, don't make that. Like, that don't sound good. You need to re-record that. You need to, you know, so I still love the fact that I could go to him and still sit down and be humble. I need that, you know what I mean? And I'm an artist in my own right with my own, like, he like, yo, you killing it right now. You bigger than me right now. You know, I'm like, I know, but you got that ear. I need something. I need somebody to be like, nah, you need to talk about that in a different way. You need to say that different. That didn't come off clear. So that's the beauty of having those OGs, man.
Let me shout out my OG Flames Earl Jones, man.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if he's told them, but
too.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Flames Earl Jones, man. That dude, he took me in when I was like 12 years old, man, taught me how to count bars. You know what I'm saying? Like things that was like, that was instrumental in my early development as an MC to be like 13, 12 years old, but know how to count bars. You know what I'm saying? It just made it's like unlocking a cheat code, right? I mean, I imagine, because I knew how to count bars so early, so I can't say for certain, but I imagine that when you got raw talent, you know what I'm saying, and you just nice for mad long, but you never know how to count bars, that it's like harder to settle in, and song structures are you'll need more guidance on just how to make songs. But when somebody teaches you just that simple thing, how to count bars, and then you like, oh, you need a 16 bar verse and an 8 bar hook. Oh, that's what makes a song. It just connects easy. You know what I mean? Like then you get experience with it, and you just do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Because you like, oh, this beat right here, this beat, that's what allow you to have a no hook category in the battle. You like, oh, this don't even call for me to have no hook. I could put 1,000,000 bars on this and it's gonna be dope. You know what I'm saying? As long as I approach it right. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to take that moment, shout out. You know, he was like my first OG besides my brother, of course. But you know, he was instrumental in my early development as an artist. And then later in my career, as I started to really come into myself as an artist, he was the guy who hit me up like, yo, let's make an album. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. I'm gonna produce the whole shit. And at first, I was like, I was kind of at that point. I was making music on my own already. You know, I had like a lot of control of like making my own music, picking my own beats, getting different producers and stuff like that. I had just released my own album. It had, you know, like it was like 14 tracks with like 10, 8, 9 producers. You know what I mean? And I think it was dope. You know, it still came out pretty good. It aged well. But having him come in and be like, yo, let's do an album. And then like I make songs and he'd be like, scratch that. Like Diamond Love that I released, like that's the second Diamond Love. Like I wrote Diamond Love, and to that beat, he was like, man, you're not hardly detailed enough. Like you're not like, where's all, there's a lot more that you could say about Delaware. You know what I mean? For those who haven't heard Diamond Love, that's like a song that I released from 1738. That was just a dedication to Delaware. And it's like, yo, he struck that shit down. Like, yo, nah. He like, this beat's crazy. Like, if you're going to talk about Delaware on this shit, you're going to have to get detailed. You have to go in. You know what I'm saying? I had the humility to be like, okay, and just rewrite the song. You know what I'm saying? So like having that guidance, having them OGs, that shit is crucial. It's critical.
Yo, and shout out Flames, because I met him through Park ID. Park ID used to be in a group called Sons of Sam. Like it's a straight history, and they was like more in the suburbs. Yeah. So like I learned how to make beats through Park ID, and Park ID used to teach like Flames Earl Jones and all of them. Like it comes out of the same lineage, man. Like we from the same lineage without even really discussing it. It's crazy because I used to be around them dudes, and I used to remember them like beat battling and stuff like that, man, and just sitting in on them sessions, just watching like these masters taking 8 seconds on, you know, on a beat machine. Like now we got all this unlimited stuff. They taking 8 seconds and scratching it and slowing the music down to make the sample scratch. And I like watch this like I'm watching chemists in the kitchen cooking up. Like this is the most amazing stuff ever. And I was like privy to just sit there under so many what I call masters. You know what I mean? Hezekiah was a master. Park ID was a master. Grand G was a master who I idolized. Grand G was, and you know, in 1990, Grand G was the best. I mean, before that it was had the crown. It was probably Disco Beef, because in '87 he came out with I'm Swerving. So like I remember that, you know what I mean? And I remember he had everything on fire, and then, you know, Grant G came with Project X, and it was like the rap. Like he was the most murderous MC I ever heard, and you know, we got some beautiful history that we gotta preserve, man. We gotta preserve this history, man.
I wanna shout out to this. There was a clique back in the days that it was called Ill Society. I don't know if you remember Ill Society?
Yeah.
Okay, I was a part of Ill Society, you know what I'm saying? And my OG in Ill Society was this artist named Multi Styles. And Multi Styles, like, he's another one of my OGs, just like I swore like I was nice, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I met Multi, you know, me and my man KID, rest in peace KID, you know what I mean? We was stomping around through Delaware thinking we was them young dudes, you know what I'm saying? And then we met Multi Styles, and he just had all these crazy songs, all these crazy flows, and we like almost instantly just like went under his tutelage. Like, yo, this dude, and he was making songs like on a karaoke machine. Like that was the machine that, you know, like that, like Rich said, watching them, you know, use beat machines. People, of course, he got to see people make music on more official stuff. You know what I mean? I seen people make Flames Earl Jones is using more official equipment at the time. But Multi Styles was making fire songs on a karaoke machine, taking the tape out one side, putting it in the other, playing the vocals on top, switching them back. I was like, yo, I need a karaoke machine. I need a karaoke machine in the crib, making songs, you know what I'm saying? And just have being left to my own devices a little bit, making records that, man, I wish I could find today. You know what I mean? I just really wish I had those in an archive somewhere. But, you know, it just goes more to the point to just, you know, having those OGs, having those people that's above you, coming before you, just showing you like, use whatever you got. Even if you don't got nothing, like you could do this. You know what I'm saying? And for the young kids now, it's just even more so. Like they could do anything in their crib. And I do, like earlier we were speaking about, you know, not being like everything, because you definitely need a team. You know, you need somebody to take work.
It ain't gonna work without no
somebody
team.
to do different stuff. You need somebody, like, you can't hit up all your people. Like you need other people to help you with that. You know what I mean? You need people to help extend your network. You know what I mean? Like you don't know everybody. You know what I mean? Creatively, I'm not going to knock whatever anyone wants to do creatively. I like to put my hands in a little bit of everything. Like Tarantino, we in quarantine. I recorded it. I made the beats. You know what I mean? But I also collaborated with people on that. You know what I mean? Like I sent them beats. I sent my music to Flames Earl Jones and to Kazi Jones, and you know what I mean, to Brett Baker. You know what I mean? I sent them my music, and they elevated it for me in quarantine. You know what I'm saying? Like Kazi is my partner. Those other guys is my big homies. They just collaborating. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't make everything yourself. I mean, some people is talented enough to do it though. Some people might do it. You know, might have even Kanye West though. He's a producer of his music, but he's bringing in other people to collaborate on that music. So like, it's like, yeah, you can put your hand in everything, but you have to have one thing that you mastered. And for me, like that's the MCing, of course. You know what I'm saying? So I know I got that mastered. I focus on that. I might dabble in everything else, but then it's like, this is what I have to focus on. So I want to just drive home that point to that, you know, that Richard was bringing out, that Gambo said earlier, like you need those people around you that's going to collaborate with you, that's going to push you, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to help extend your capabilities. You know what I'm saying? You just need that. Without it, I don't know anybody that I idolize their career, because like musically, you know, I'm past the point of idolizing niggas. Like maybe when I was younger, like yeah, I idolize them, but now I'm like, you know, put me on a song with you, I might eat you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, none of the people that I idolize their careers and want a career like them did the shit they self. Yeah, none of them. So why would that's another thing that ties into having OGs and guidance. You look at people's who doing what you want to do, and you take that advice from them, even if you don't know them. You know what I'm saying? Nobody that I want to have a career like did it by themselves, man. You got to have strong people around you, strong people in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Gambo, you want to shout out your OGs and then we out of here?
Shit, man. I got a fucking ton. Depends what part of my life, to be honest. I got different people for different parts of my life. But my pops, for real. My pops, definitely. My boy, I always say when it comes to music, man, I had two friends. My one boy Book, he was older than me, and my one boy Rick, he passed away. But him and Book kind of like, I was just like a freestyler, just like, you know, I liked rapping good. You know, I couldn't make a song. I just wanted to rap as good as I could, you know, just forever. And they kind of, you know, taught me. So definitely, man. Rick passed away a couple years ago, but yeah, man. I mean, I got so many people in my life. I would just say everybody that's been around me, and also like a lot of plus, man, you know, a lot of the stuff I learned, if nobody around me knew what to do, I fucking read about it, man. People need to learn how to pick up books.
Absolutely.
Somebody was like, "Damn, we're all gonna make y'all pull out a dictionary." God damn it. Let's do it.
It's a good thing.
Nah, I guess reading is important.
I guess number one, I want to say thank you, brothers, for coming on. I appreciate y'all. I'll make sure y'all give me y'all socials.
Okay. Richard Raw, everything at Richard Raw.
Same here at K Hot KAEHOCK. Quarantarantino out now. Quarantarantino out now. Go to your streaming app. Listen to Quarantarantino. There's only one Quarantarantino on all your streaming sites. I promise.
I definitely was pleasantly shown you two. I knew who Richard was from with one of them things you did with the Queen, and somebody had told me about you. But and K, I had never listened to your music either. When I tuned back into Delaware, because I'm from that age, I kind of paid more attention to the nigga shit. And I didn't pay attention to the other stuff, you know what I mean? And I say my OGs, when it comes to this music thing and life period, you know, I'm from 24th Street. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody on Turf who showed me something.
2-4.
That's a piece GOAT, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was Jay Black, who Richard Raw would know. He was very instrumental because we went to church together, and then he was in the other things outside the church, of course. And then he kind of like guided me and showed me a lot of different things throughout the way. And then my man Tracknologist. A lot of people know Track. Track is A1 mentor in my life, even to this day. Track showed me how to listen to music, who to listen for. We had conversations, and he showed me a respect for my music mind that nobody really showed me, and told me that you different and you can go do whatever you want to do pretty much. And then I got a couple others. Actually, TJ's DJs was one. My man Dark Zuckerberg on the podcasting side, and a couple other people. So I appreciate y'all for coming on. I hope everybody
Thanks for having us.
You know, thank y'all.
We gotta do it again, man, because you know we got dig, man. I know we supposed to talk about hop.
We gotta dig. We gotta we might gotta do the Delaware history.
Hopping Records is history that people gotta know. When I seen that, I was like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
I ain't never seen nobody do this before. Delaware shrink wrap a whole van, ride around with mixtapes. He put out a mixtape damn near every month.
Every month.
Like,
every
what
month.
Is this?
Every single month.
Yeah, we got dig into that, man.
It's definitely a couple movements that was on it. Free Agents was on it like that.
Yeah, Free Agents.
The Soviet Union.
Yeah,
I forgot about them.
Radamez and them.
Yeah,
we got some rich history. You know what I'm saying? I also want to just. Did he say a hat?
Oh man.
You can't talk about Delaware hip hop without talking about.
Oh man.
I would
Hey,
have to.
yo,
I would have to say the Gods. Remember the Gods? I can't do that. The niggas from 27th Street.
Yo, Stain Cotton, y'all. Make sure y'all get Stain Cotton too.
Oh yeah.
Stain Cotton. Yeah, that's a classic right there. K-Hawk, Rich Ross, Stain Cotton. That's on these streaming networks, and sites, and apps too. So you know what I mean.
Too, man.
Yeah. Oh man, Rich, that would be dope. I don't know if you're ready for that.
We ain't get a chance. It was so much going on in both of our lives when we did that.
For sure.
I think
for sure. I mean, especially for you. You know what I'm saying? Without getting into too much, but especially for you.
That back, man, and do another.
But we put together some shit. They got to check that out. That Stain Cotton, boy. That
y'all
thing,
young
that
artists
thing
out there.
good.
Look, this is what I'm gonna tell y'all, man. Do joint albums. Don't be afraid. Do joint albums, man. It's dope. When we got a chance to bring in so many, like a lot of Hawks fans became my fans. A lot of my fans, like my mom, like K-Hawk. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Like she loves. She's like, I like him. I like that music. I like that Delaware love. That Diamond Love song. Like that's real talk. You know what I mean?
Love.
My whole family. So like, do joint albums, man. Bring your influences and your people together. You know what I mean? It's better when both of y'all are dropping. Then you got two timelines with endless people. Is better.
That's a
man.
fact.
So do
That's
joint
a fact.
albums. Yikes, who you gonna do a joint album with? You need to do a joint album with.
With D-Rock.
D-Rock.
Fucking D-Rock.
D-Rock.
Yo.
That's fucking hilarious.
Greatest ever, man.
Oh
God
my
damn.
God.
Greatest ever.
That's that. We got to finish that. That's the that we're gonna wrap it up with that one.
We gonna wrap it up. You gonna end the stream?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
gonna end this.
I'm gonna go.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Go ahead and end the stream.
Yo, appreciate y'all, brother.